I begin with another word of gratitude to Bishop Campbell and the wonderful folks here at St. Joseph's for allowing this community once again to host an Archdiocesan event. I'm very grateful to Wendy and her colleagues in helping to plan and organize this day. And above all, I'm grateful to you, my dear brothers, for being here. You know, we've all gathered simply because it's Robert Boxey's birthday. It's always a challenge for any group to try to co-author a shared text. Bishops are no exception. The crafting of a document by many people is no simple task. The compositions of elected USA legislators, the corporate efforts of the USCCB, and many other joint enterprises stand as obvious testimony to the arduous task of corporate authorship. In 1984, the then 10 Black bishops of the United States embarked upon a joint task of writing a pastoral letter for the church. We were engaging in such an ambitious undertaking, and 3 of us have survived. Bishop Terry Steib, the retired Bishop of Memphis, and Bishop John Ricard, the retired Bishop of Pensacola, Tallahassee, both of whom were invited to be with us, but both of whom are still gainfully employed in doing the work of the church. In spite of the many challenges that writing a single text by a number of people presents, there was prodigious unanimity in our efforts. We were as diverse in our backgrounds as any such group might have been. We were religious order priests, diocesan priests, coming from rural, small-town backgrounds and large urban environments. We differed in age and in pastoral credentials. Yet binding all of those distinctions, we had all shared the same experience of being people of color in a nation with scant firsthand Catholic experience of the souls of Black people, Black folks. We wrote as Black men, first of all to our own Black sisters and brothers, as well as to our church at large. We wrote to challenge ourselves to the vital task of evangelization and deepening cultural pride in the gifts that God had bestowed upon us. We acknowledged that the time had come for people of color to seize the reins in charting our future within our church. By recognizing the treasure of our culture and heritage, and then offering those gifts wholeheartedly to the church that we loved. It was such knowledge of himself that prompted the psalmist to proclaim today, "I give you thanks that I am fearfully, wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works." Our efforts in writing what we have seen and heard were similar to the exclamation of the psalmist, who, looking into his own heart, declared that God indeed had fashioned him as an amazing work of God's hand. Such self-appreciation is a gift for all the people of our church. It is not a source of vanity as much as it is a prayer of thanksgiving for what God has fashioned in creating each one of us. We recognized that we have much to offer to the church that we loved and served, and that we have had much to gain from sharing the faith of our church as broadly as we can by welcoming our sisters and brothers into this family of faith. Evangelization is the effort enthusiastically to gather as many people as possible into the embrace of Christ's church, not by pressure or force or coercion, but by lived examples of loving service. For the 10 of us had been inspired by the loving examples of those pioneer sisters, priests, deacons, and layfolk in mission to the Black community, and we wanted to assume leadership along with the clergy, religious, and laity who shared with us the responsibilities of helping the church grow within the ranks of people of color everywhere in our nation. We took this task up as we were still experiencing the effects of the civil rights movement, as we were witnessing the growth and development of the cultural awareness of people of color in our nation, and we realized that the church needed to make those gifts and those challenges and those possibilities a part of our heritage. So we set about writing a document. Bishops like to write documents. But in writing the document, we also realized that we were building on the foundation that had been laid by so many courageous people in service to our church, our sisters who taught in our schools, our lay folk who kept the faith in spite of incredible challenges of racism and hatred, and our priests who had served in places that had never seen a Black face or witnessed a Black man standing at the altar. It was an important moment. It was something that needed to be done, and I'm just glad I got involved at the tail end.